When God is born within you, well, that's the beginning of it all, you first awaken within you, and you do not know you are God. You only know that you have awakened from the most profound sleep ever, and it seemed like eternity. You did not awake on the bed where you fell asleep the night before. You awoke in a tomb, and the tomb is your skull. And you awake within your skull, and you're all alone. There's no one present. But you have a built-in innate knowledge what to do, and you do it, and you come out of your skull as a child comes out of the womb of woman. But you're coming out of your own skull, and you pull yourself out of your own skull. It's the birth of God. God actually took upon himself the limit of contraction, which is man. Now he is born, the birth being an expansion. There is no limit to expansion. God is forever expanding. And then, at a moment of expansion, he then has a new venture of contraction. Then he expands beyond what he was. Then he contracts. Then he expands beyond what he was. And that is God's play. There is no limit to expansion. He puts a limit to contraction. The limit here is man. So when you break the tomb, you come out and you are God. But you do not know that you're God. That comes later. It's the mystery that everyone one day will unfold within himself, and he'll know that he is God. So I know in my own case, raised in the Christian faith as I was, and I call myself a Christian from my own personal experience of this great mystery. But I did not know from my mother's knee or in my school, because we had Bible reading and Bible studies when I was a child. It was part of our schooling. We had to go to Sunday school. I was taught the Bible, raised with the Bible. And there it is, but I didn't see it, and my teachers didn't see it. My mother didn't see it, my father didn't see it, and no one that I ever met ever saw it. So I didn't know it until it happened. It happened in me, and then I could not then make it fit in what they taught me. I had to go back and reread Scripture, and there the whole pattern was there all along. But only the risen Christ can interpret Scripture. And when it happens in you, well, what a joy. I can't tell anyone the emotion that possesses you, and then you really are like one possessed. You walk in the dream of what happened, and you cannot think of anything but, really. You may be diverted for a little while. A small party, a big one would bore you. A few friends, yes. A large crowd, no. It doesn't interest you. A dinner party of a few chosen friends, yes. But to have an enormous crowd, no, that's nothing more than noise. Everyone's trying to, well, monopolize the entire picture. But a few chosen friends for a party, a delightful evening with words, where you're discussing reality. Wonderful. But after it happens to you, may I tell you, you can't think of anything but, and your dreams are not dreams anymore. Your nights are not what they were prior to that waking. You wake and it's entirely different. And I can't explain to anyone who wakes every day of their life after a night of good sleep, that waking in the morning doesn't compare to this. It's something entirely different. As though you had never awakened before in your life. That's what actually you feel like. Something entirely different. And you look at all these things round about you, and here, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years ago, it was written there, and it was all about you, and you didn't know it. But something was said to me just before I took the platform by a very dear friend of mine who was here tonight. Although he will admit to me and to everyone in the world, he is 101% American, but he cannot deny the fact that he has 101% of the Irish background in him too. So he gave me the definition of an Irishman. An Irishman is one who does not know what he wants. And there'll be no peace on earth until he finds it. Not exactly his words, he told it much better than that. But that's the essence of it. He does not know what he wants, and there'll be no peace on earth until he finds it. Well, that's the whole vast world. Ask him, what do you want? He doesn't really know what he wants, because what everyone wants is to find the Father. And you can't find the Father without the Son. Basically, we're trying to find the cause of the phenomena of life. What makes things happen in my world? He told me, years ago, long before he met me, he had these sort of daydreams of, talking to a crowd, maybe going on radio, maybe on TV. Here, out of the blue, someone came into his restaurant in Ojai and offered him a series of lectures here in New Mexico, possibly send him into Arizona. She can arrange other things for him. And the whole thing is done. But he remembered these daydreams. Most of us don't remember. And when we are confronted with our own harvest, we deny it's our harvest. So I tell you, there is no such thing as an accident in this world. No. There is no such thing as a natural cause. Every natural effect has a spiritual cause. That is an imaginal cause, and not a natural. A natural only seems. It is a delusion of our fading memories. We can't remember when we set it in motion. He remembers that long before he met me in San Francisco, that this happened back east, this daydream of his. And now, suddenly, out of the nowhere, a seeming stranger comes into his world, listening to him in his restaurant, carried away with what he had to say, the way he said it, is moved to arrange this thing for him. He doesn't have to lift a finger to do it. It all will be done for him. So I say, dream noble dreams. Wonderful dreams. If they don't come to pass tonight, tomorrow, or next week, you keep on dreaming them. But try to put yourself into the dream as though it's taking place. And try to live in it. Be possessed by the dream. And see the whole thing unfold within you in this world of Caesar. Always bearing in mind the real dream. It must come to an end only when it's fulfilled. And the story is the fulfillment when you awake. For resurrection is waking. It's not gathering dead bones together and putting flesh on it. It's simply awakening. Now let us go into the silence.